Good afternoon, YouTube. I'm I'm just finishing up at a motorcycle meet and ride this morning with the Southern Arizona Royal Enfield Club of Southern Arizona. It's was an interesting time. We had someone lead the ride this time that I don't think has ever led a motorcycle ride before, but that was all right. She did a great job. She chose an awesome route. Got a little off track here and there. I lost one of my GoPro, a GoPro style camera, one of the cheap ones, to vibrations. But we recovered it on the road. We'll see if the we'll have to see if the chip still works. But anyway, some of you might be interested to know, and I'll go ahead and let you know that the Enfield held up pretty good. It's not the fastest bike in the world, and those newer bikes are geared a lot better. So, after watching my previous MotoVlog, this is what I've come to an understanding of. I've come to understand that as far as MotoVlogs go, I tend to say and a lot. So I shall endeavor to not do that anymore. And I shall endeavor to simply pause instead of saying or Let's see what I got over here. I can't remember how this intersection is going to handle me here. I really don't want to go downtown. There's a bunch of crazy train tracks. I'd just as soon not. So, I think I'm going to take 12th. So the route we took was, and actually a really fun route. I tend to stay away from some of those bigger highways, type roads, or the roads that go really, really fast. At least on this bike, it's just really not built for that. It's not that I don't like going fast. Everybody likes going fast. It's simply a matter of, I don't want to burn up my motor. This bike's just not made for that style of riding. And part of the things you have to settle for when you get something that has as much character as this bike does, you have to settle for things like its capabilities are limited to what motorcycles were limited to when it was designed back in the 50s. So the design back in the 50s dictates there weren't many roads where you could go 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. So the bike really isn't made to do that. So that being the case, we look at this and say, well, in trade for the character of the bike, you shall stay on backcountry roads and off of interstates and off of roads that are 6x6. Gotta open up the visor. It's probably pushing 100 degrees out here right now, and having the visor up at the traffic lights at Tucson's favorite pastime, pretty much the only time you get a reprieve from being stuffed up in this helmet. So the ride this morning is really cool. We did get to go to some places, some areas in town that I will go ride again and visit because they were just beautiful. Nice, quiet, winding roads, not a lot of people on, and you can see all sorts of the desert that I live in. I joke about it being uninteresting, but imagine there's some of you that have never seen things like saguaro and Oregon pipe cactus and things of that nature just growing straight up out of the ground. If you remember from some of the cartoons when you were a kid, you may remember the cactuses always seem to have arms in the cartoons. You know, the arms would stand straight up, like almost like a cowboy being held up at gunpoint or something like that. Well, those cactuses, they're called saguaros. They have a G in there, but the G is kind of pronounced like a W. It's saguaro cactus, and there's a lot of those around here. I believe they're indigenous to the Sonoran Desert. If you see them elsewhere, it's because someone picked one up and moved it, which is not an easy task. For a cactus, they're pretty darn heavy. You know, cactus are succulents. They store their water in their greenery. So when you see a saguaro cactus that's about 10 feet tall, yeah, it probably weighs about 1,000 pounds or more. Or not. So anyway, on that ride this morning, like I said, we covered lots of cactus and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know how interesting the terrain here looks to other folks. I always enjoy it when I see those MotoVlogs from places in the Great Northwest, or even the ones over in England where you get to see what water does to a place. You know, all the green trees and the meadows and stuff like that. If you're wondering about that stadium over here on my left, that is the University of Arizona football stadium. They just upgraded it recently. I think it holds somewhere around 72,000 fans if it's sold out. I don't know why you'd be interested in that. And then the building over here, I don't know if you can see it. It's flat, brown stripe on top. That's the legendary McHale Center for those that like college basketball. Again, if you're not a University of Arizona fan, you're probably not too concerned about it. Normally I don't like to ride in the left-hand lane, but it's just kind of how it worked out today. I like staying out of the middle lane because people close in on you from both sides there. But I'll be making a turn up here shortly, so I'm justified in the left-hand lane even though I'm not the fastest vehicle moving. And it got hot today. The ride this morning, beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. When we started out, it was maybe 75 degrees out. The rains in the evenings has really been cooling off the nighttime temperatures. But the days still heat up pretty good. And like I said, right now we're pushing about 100 degrees. So stopping at these traffic lights, it does not feel bad. I'm sorry. Pretty girls jumping up and down, waving car wash signs. I at least got to give them a horn, right? And this is one of the things I don't like about city riding, is when you have to drive aggressively or fast, then you have to stop fast. And on these bikes, at least the ones from the era that mine came from, twin leading front brakes, twin leading front drum brakes, and single leading rear drum brake. So we're not talking about a lot of stopping power here. You pretty much have to use everything. You know, I've got a Honda sitting in the garage right now, and that Honda, that thing will stop on a dime just using the front brake. In the Enfield here, I use everything I've got. I use the engine, I use the rear brake, and I use the front brake. It's always a crazy part of the town right here. The traffic sort of gets squeezed into just 2 lanes now, and people will just pull out and do whatever they want to do. Or they'll squeeze into your lane because their lane was getting diluted. Before you know it, people are all over you. And that'll about do it. I think this MotoVlog is up. Like I said, yeah, I think I'll fatten it up a little bit with some cutaways to the ride this morning. But I got to do the ride video up too, because the folks that participated in the ride are going to want to see it. And we did this ride a couple weeks ago. We had 9-10 people. We had 9-10 people, and today we only had 4 on 3 bikes. So I had 1 couple rode 2 up, and they're good folks. The folks we had, the folks we all had last time, they were pretty fun too. But it was kind of nice to sit down to lunch afterwards and really get to know these folks and know that, you know, they're all hardworking, responsible people, and this is something they're doing to engage life. You know, it just so happens they are all Enfield lovers. And funny thing about Enfield lovers is this. I don't know if you folks are familiar with the video for the Blind Melon song called No Rain. There was a video for that song called No Rain. It was a very popular song back in the 90s. And in that song, there was a lonely girl running around in that video. There was a lonely girl, little girl, running around, and she's dressed like a bumblebee. She's wearing like a bumblebee costume, and everywhere she goes in the video, you know, she's nothing special. People kind of think she's weird, or there's just no place for her to fit in. And at the end of the video, she finds a group of other people dressed in bumblebee outfits, and everybody celebrates and rejoices. I'll have to see if I can't steal a clip of that from somewhere, because that's kind of what us Enfield riders are like. We kind of do that. Anyhow, I'll talk to you folks soon. Have a good one. Everybody celebrates and rejoices. Everybody celebrates and rejoices.